Should I, 37M, have my wife, 33F, served with divorce papers in a gathering of our families? I made a new account and actually posted in legal advice yesterday trying to get my ducks in a row as I'm on an extreme emotional roller coaster. My wife follows my main Reddit account. I want to ask about the duality relationship aspect of what I'm about to go through as I feel tact is required for my best possible outcome. She had a baby recently. 2 weeks ago. My wife started getting really weird with her phone about mid-pregnancy, and she's told me about her coworker who brags about sleeping with a ton of women, including married women, and even bragged about fathering a child and another man unknowingly raising it. I think he's a poss, but I thought my wife was telling me this as a way of conveying how horrible he is. He's the only man she spends any time with other than me, and has a history of this, so I'm assuming the baby is his, but I could be wrong. I don't really care at this point whose it is. I just know it's not mine. Anyways, how I know. I ordered 2 well-known paternity tests leading up to the delivery of the baby, and hid them well. I administered and sent them in, and both, I used 2 just to kill the chance of a false positive or negative or something like that. Paranoia, came back showing the child was not mine. I'm doing my best to keep up a good act and pretend I'm the committed father, husband she thinks I am. I'm so disgusted and resentful though. I feel a strong urge to get ahead of this because I've been divorced before, also cheated on in that marriage. Amazing. I'm kind of numb to it now, and the ex-wife told everyone that I cheated, and that she was the victim, and it turned into a huge mess where most people still don't even believe me, and she told everyone that the screenshots I had proving it were photoshopped, generated, and she generated her own too to make it look like I was sexting some woman who doesn't exist. It's because I gave her the benefit of the doubt and thought she'd be a good person. Instead she got upset she was caught, and immediately told everyone that I cheated instead of her, and then it became her word versus mine. I don't think that will happen here since there's a baby to prove the infidelity, but I still want to be careful. Given the extreme situation in that I've been misled for almost a year, what I really want to ask is, would it be reasonable for me to pull both of our families and best friends over, and confront her with witnesses, and the paternity tests, divorce papers, and a packed bag? I just want to make sure nothing is communicated incorrectly to anyone. To be fully honest, I don't care if the attendees think this is immature, petty of me. The reputation sting of miscommunication has hurt me before, and many people who I considered close friends think I cheated on my ex, when she cheated on me, and won't talk to me ever again. Her family is local, so I think she can stay with them after the event, but at this point I've had my reputation falsely tarnished once in my life by a really bad person. I don't want it to happen again, and I would be lying if I said I didn't feel the need for her deeds to be labeled. Too long did not read. Baby isn't mine, I have very solid proof of that. I want her unfaithfulness known so it can't be misconstrued in any way, and to just move on with my life. Is serving her at a gathering okay? And #X200B. Edit. Okay, thanks for the advice. I get it. I'm too angry to think straight. More than half the people who have posted think this is petty, and that's why I asked, and I'm going to go with the people who aren't emotional wrecks right now. I plan to just go forward with the gathering as normal, and as soon as the last person leaves I will pack a bag for her, and the baby, and provide her with a printed copy of the paternity test, and divorce papers. I do, however, plan to text everyone who attended what transpired as they left, the next day, with a picture of the paternity test. I'm 100% doing this part regardless of what Reddit thinks. At this point the family gathering is already going to happen. I stupidly suggested this during an emotional bout. Sorry to miscommunicate that. I will suffer through it, so as not to tip her off that I know. I still want to maintain the element of surprise. I think the text will just say, "To her family, friends, individually, it pains me to have to communicate this to everyone. I saw suspicious behaviors in less than wife and came into doubts about the child being mine. I ran 2 paternity tests against less than child and both came back showing that she is not mine. I am very sorry to be the bearer of this news that our family will be no more. I wish you the best and hope you will give her the support and the child, as the child has nothing to do with her mistakes. To my family, friends, individually, it pains me to have to communicate this to everyone. I saw suspicious behaviors in less than wife and came into doubts about the child being mine. I ran 2 paternity tests against less than child and both came back showing that she is not mine. I am very sorry to be the bearer of this news that our family will be no more. To my family and friends, I am okay. I just need some time to heal, and I think getting through the divorce will be the first step. and #X200B. Additional edit for clarity since it's hitting multiple comments. Anyways, how I know. I ordered 2 well-known paternity tests leading up to the delivery of the baby, and hid them well. I administered and sent them in, and both, I used 2 just to kill the chance of a false positive or negative or something like that. Paranoia, came back showing the child was not mine. I'm doing my best to keep up a good act and pretend I'm the committed father, husband she thinks I am. I'm so disgusted and resentful though. Rereading this I can see the ambiguity. I typed up everything this morning while incredibly high on negative emotions, nothing else, I promise. I apologize for that. What I mean in the quoted text is that I purchased 2 test kits and administered them as per the test kit's instructions, then mailed them into the lab and paid the fee. The results were uploaded online. This worked very similar to 23andMe for those of you who have done that. Instead of spitting into a container, it was just a cheek swab, though. The reason for my wording of leading up to the pregnancy is that I wanted to have them on hand so I could act fast and either validate or invalidate my insane emotions, and if I need, act fast on divorcing, relieving myself of liability. It would be of poor taste, not for your wife, but for all the guests who may not want to be thrust into your marital infighting. You seem to be concerned about your reputation after what happened with your first divorce, which is completely understandable. But while making a spectacle out of your failed marriage will probably go viral online, it won't garner you any sympathy from your friends and family. If you want to be sure that your story is out before she can construct a lie about it, drop the bombshell to her close family, parents, siblings, just after delivering it to her, e.g. an email when you essentially say, "Wife and I are getting a divorce, she cheated on me, here are 2 paternity tests proving the baby isn't mine," then you let the truth spreads on its own. You think the reputation sting of miscommunication is going to be worse than you destroying a family event for your petty satisfaction? I mean, your wife deserves to be divorced, no question, but your entire families do not deserve to be audience members to your drama play. You better be feeding them well and there better be a band. I have this rule about public confrontations that has saved me from making bad situations worse, and that is it worth ruining lunch over? Dude, are you trying to get on the local news? Domestic disturbance, officers called to scene? Because that's what you're planning here. What exactly do you think is going to happen with multiple family members, hormones, and a baby present? Confront her, yes. Have a witness or 2, yes. But a huge family event? No. How did you avoid putting your name on the birth certificate? No. Sorry for what happened to you before, but this will still make you look like shit and put everyone else in a really awful position. Your reputation will be stung for this circus act, too, and rightly this time. Tell your family and hers. Tell your friends, if you need. The paternity tests speak for themselves. Give them all the info. Tell them what she did to you. But don't put on a big show and drag everyone else into it. Live stream it on Reddit. Important. Have someone else serve her the papers, it's illegal for you to do it yourself. Forget that sleazebag and move on with your life. Anyone who doesn't remain friends with you is a douchebag who was never your friend in the first place. And should I get over a cheating wife? Okay. So long story short, I, 37 male, very recently found out that my wife, 37 female, has been having a series of emotional affairs with other men throughout our entire marriage, and one physical one that happened 6 years ago. We've been married 10. I had always suspected, but I opened Pandora's box and did some digging in her email account after catching her texting some random guy she had met. And I mean texting a lot. Thousands of texts all hours of day and night over months according to the phone bill. She insists he's just a friend and they have never had sex, and I can't prove it. But doing my digging I found a series of email addresses she uses and was able to use her account to reset the passwords and gain access, and that seemed to be Pandora's box. Now I have physical proof, photos, of a physical affair, and a written confession from her to an online intimate pen pal, of which she has had several, about cheating on me. The longest of the emotional affairs lasted half our marriage, and reading it all was like getting a view of our marriage from her view and being able to see myself through her eyes. All I can say is my perception of how things were and hers are very different. My career has kept me away from home on a crazy schedule and required we relocate to another state. Apparently this has been bad for the kids, now 13 female and 14 male, and cause her great distress, even though she is totally happy where we are living now. I'm also apparently a horrible father. And while it hurt to read it, I do recognize that a lot of what she said about me is true. By the end of reading everything I realized that she has connected emotionally with other men in ways she never connected with me. And I'm fucking crushed. I confronted her about it and she came clean and feels horrible and wants to fix things. I don't know if I can make myself whole again. Our current financial and work situation would mean that splitting would be a lose-lose for both of us and the kids. We're both adult enough that we realize that, and I've handled this without throwing a tantrum. She knows I would never hurt her, and indeed I still love her. But I also feel like I've had my third eye opened and am seeing reality as it really is for the first time. I can see who she really is, and who I really am, and I can see that we very well may just be fundamentally incompatible as a couple. I feel like the pattern of behavior of her seeking out the attention of other men that connect with her emotionally is not going to stop. Am I wasting my time even trying? We've talked and talked in circles about it. She insists she can change. Would I be a fool to believe her? I'm so lost. She's just going to keep cheating on you over and over. If you take her back after all that, you're basically giving her the okay to keep cheating. If I was in your shoes, I wouldn't even think about staying with her after she betrayed you for your whole marriage. If you think she will stop, you are delusional. She might stop for a while, but that's it. If I was in your position, I would leave. Cheating is a deal breaker since I couldn't trust them ever again. Depends on your perspective about it and if you truly want to leave. Better to find someone new while you still able to at your age. I'd recommend leaving. Do your children know, or have you thought about what would happen in the situation of a split? I confronted her about it and she came clean and feels horrible and wants to fix things. The only thing she feels horrible about is that she got caught, and of course she wants to fix things not because she loves you and wants to be with you, but because she likes the life you give her and doesn't want to lose it. You deserve better. Am I wasting my time even trying? Yes. Would I be a fool to believe her? Yes. Once a cheater, always a cheater. She has been lying and deceiving you for years. What would you say to your best friend or family member if they were subject to the same? Trust is gone. You deserve better. End it. She will cheat again. The fact that she hasn't communicated with you all this time just shows she was never going to tell you. Like ever. Do you want to be with someone like that? Someone who can't even do you the basic courtesy of telling you how she feels. You've done horrible father, now it's time for horrible father, on the weekends cool. My wife committed suicide and now any relationship I try to have is ruined. I'm 24M. I have a therapist but honestly she's not helping. My wife and I were the high school sweethearts who got married at 18. Please don't tell me how stupid we were. It was the smartest thing I did in my life and I was so happy at least. We have a 2-year-old daughter and my wife passed shortly after she was born. My wife wanted us to be happy. She never explained why she did it. Her suicide note was just telling us to be happy. I'm not doing this to hurt you. I want you to fall in love again. Please don't be angry with me, there was nothing you could have done. That was who my wife was. It was always how I would feel that was important. She was so stoic, which I had just loved about her, but I don't have any closure. I moved back in with my parents who honestly have been doing the majority of care for my daughter. Sometimes I look at my daughter and feel nothing and I'm not in a good place to be a father. No matter how much therapy I go to, I feel like shit. I only feel good when I'm asleep. Anyway, my parents have been telling me to meet women. I only ever dated my wife, so it's been an adjustment for me. I downloaded Tinder and I've met up with a few girls. My heart isn't in it and I feel like I'm cheating. I started crying when one rubbed me over my pants like an idiot. When I tell them, yeah, my wife killed herself, they pity me and then never talk to me again, which I can't blame them for. I've been seeing one woman who is really nice and just beautiful and understanding. But she reminds me of my wife in the sense that she's all about consoling me and never telling me about herself. I tell her to open up with me and she says there's nothing to open up about. I think it's because I like strong women, but now sometimes I randomly get the fear that she's killed herself too, and I call her over and over again and convince myself she's dead and I'm not even in love with this woman yet. Once she responds, she tells me she gets it, she's sorry she made me worry, but she shouldn't. It's me. I'm the problem. Anyway, what do I do? Reddit probably isn't good to go to with this, but at this point I'd go up to people in the streets and ask because I feel like I'm never going to be happy again. I am so sorry for your loss. For starters, get a new therapist. Find one that you connect with. It's okay to shop around. You find the best fit for you and your needs. Secondly, just because your parents are encouraging you to date does not mean you are ready. You don't sound ready. So I would hold off on dating for now until you feel ready. You will know. Just take it day you day. Be patient with yourself. You've been through a lot. It's okay to grieve. It will get better, but at times time. Heart. You're clearly not ready yet if you're having those kinds of reactions. And that's not surprising. You've been through incredible trauma and it's only been 2 years. Ignore your parents. Concentrate on your daughter for now. When it's time to look for someone again, if it ever is, you'll know and it will happen naturally. How's your guy friend situation? You sound depressed. Duh. And going into a dating situation depressed maybe isn't the best. Do you have hobbies? Gym? Life mission? I think there's lots of smaller steps to take that are more important than a Tinder hookup. And maybe meeting someone to date could be a side outcome of attempting to piece your life back together. Sounds like your wife had postpartum depression. I am so very sorry for your loss. I agree with the other commenter that you are not ready to date. Sometimes people will give you bad advice, you don't have to listen to it. Find a therapist if you can. Or find a support group for widows or those left behind by suicide. Just focus on getting better and being a good father for your child. If you're not already, you need a very good therapist. You need to get into grief counseling and stay there for months. Parenting is your priority right now. Not meeting women. Your daughter needs you. Your former wife needs you to be there for your daughter. Don't go on dates, go to therapy. You need to be able to stand on your own 2 feet, comfortable with who you are as a father, and as a human, before you even try taking a woman to dinner. I am so sorry this happened. It sounds like you had some beautiful memories from the short time you had together. Grief, and getting over someone is never easy. It takes its own time. Therapy can work. It doesn't always work but it can. You don't have to stick with the therapist you are currently going to if she is not helping. You can go to another. Take your time to get back into the dating scene. Yes, you may eventually find another woman, but focus on yourself first. Find some hobbies, make some friends. Spend time with your daughter. I am so sorry for your loss. I think maybe a support group would possibly help you. Definitely keeping going to individual therapy, but I think having a group of people that have a similar experience to you might help you feel more understood. Yay, don't date. You're not right enough to date yet. PPL here are right. Keep plugging away at finding a therapist that works for you until you find one. Shit's hard. Also, as mentioned prior, how are the guys in your life? It seems impossible for my boyfriend to maintain platonic friendships with women. I'm with my boyfriend for a little over a year. We are both fairly young, 23 and 25, and I've noticed a weird pattern when it comes to his friendships with women. In short, after we got together, one of his friends randomly decided that she and my BF, are destined to be together and did some questionable things. Some examples include crying to everyone how I'm getting in between their love, telling me that I'm not worthy of his attention, throwing a fit whenever he would spend time with me. Obviously, they are not friends anymore because she was getting crazier and crazier as time passed. I thought that well, that's just one girl. She probably has some issues and we moved on. Now, here is the problem: during our over a year-long relationship she wasn't the only one of his friends who turned out this way. There were three girls who, he claimed, were his friends but randomly started to think that there is something more between them and I was in the way. You see, I'm getting suspicious here and I'm not sure if it's my imagination. Generally speaking, I feel like I can understand one of your friends turning out to be not right in the head. I get it, romantic feelings might have arisen. There was some jealousy at play. Maybe she hoped that they would end up together and then I showed up, etc. But 3 friends? Their behavior towards my boyfriend and myself also show a pattern how they would want to get closer to me, then just be downright hostile. I told my boyfriend that there is something weird going on. I have male friends, my female friends have male friends, my ex had female friends, and even if there was some jealousy, then it was a one-time thing. Never have I ever heard of all of your friends of the opposite sex go berserk on your significant other. Now, this is only my 2nd relationship, so I don't have that much experience. Can someone tell me if this is normal when it comes to having friend of opposite sex? Is this a red flag, and if yes, then what I should consider when it comes to my relationship? I'm really lost and confused right now. It's 3 in a row, and he's the common denominator. Does your boyfriend look like Henry Cavill or something? It's highly unusual for so many girls to just fall for him and be jealous of you. Guys typically have to try and get women actively. In my opinion, red flag. I would suspect he's been leading them on for some length of time, maybe even years. I don't think going berserk is the right term. I think they were upset he is staying with you and probably had said before to them that he wasn't ready to date or whatever. If it were me, I'd ask one or two of these girls. Reiterate you value them as a person and want to understand where the disconnect happened and what lead them to think there was something, and if there was anything he ever said or did that lead to this conclusion. Be very careful how you approach, because you do not want to be hostile, just want to get an idea of what is going on so you don't get screwed over in the end. Fishy. He's probably leading them on in some way, and it boosts his ego to have women fighting over him. This one of the reasons why I'd be wary dating a man who had too many heterosexual female friends. A lot of the time, it has the potential to create more complications and messiness. That's definitely weird, but it's difficult to know how guilty he is based on what you've said. At a minimum, he's probably being a little too friendly or flirtatious. Is he unusually good looking or attractive in other ways? Yeah. Your instincts are not wrong. There is something really strange going on here. IDK. I've had to cut off female friends before for this reason. Might be foul play, or could be something that does happen in reality and it be coincidental that it's 3 friends in a row. I think if he was flirty and cut them off, they would probably have nothing left to lose and contact you about it to spite him.